Sat Sri Akal ji, welcome to That Punjabi Couple. My name is Manpreet Singh,
My name is Tanya Kaur.
and today we're going to talk about Punjabi stereotypes. We've all encountered them, especially if you're Punjabi.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about positive ones, we're going to talk about negative ones, and we're going to talk about if they're true or not, sharing some personal anecdotes and our stories.
Yep.
So let's get right into it. One Punjabi stereotype is that they are fun loving people. Now, what do you think, Tanya?
I think it's 100% true. If I see a Punjabi person that's just like doesn't want to dance, doesn't like to eat food, doesn't like to party or have a good time, doesn't like bhangra, I'm just like, all right, you're not Punjabi. Something along the way, along your ancestral line happened, and
Right,
you lost
right.
some of that Punjabiness.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're talking about like Punjabis like all over, whether
Yeah,
you're Muslim, Christian, Hindu, like
not
just from
just
that
Sikh
region.
Punjabi. Yeah.
Yeah, not just like Punjabis, like Punjabis in general.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, fun-loving people for sure. If I meet a Punjabi that's not fun-loving, like jolly
Yeah.
and all that stuff,
Jolly is a good word.
it's it's kind of like off to me, you know. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what happened? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like we're supposed to always be
Something must
positive.
be going on in your life.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So I think that is a stereotype that we're always on, though. I
Yeah.
think that's a stereotype. Like, oh, they're Punjabi. They're always going to be fun and loving. Like they're always on that mode.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes I'm on that mode all the
Yeah.
time,
Well, it
but
depends.
mostly I'm on that mode. But
Yeah.
I've seen other people that are. If you're not on that mode, it could just be one of those days. But
Mhm.
overall, I think that is a true, it's a
Mhm.
positive stereotype, but it's also a true one.
Yeah. What are
Yeah.
some other positive ones? They're very talkative, very chatty, I guess.
Punjabis, yeah, that's true. That's true. They want to own the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so another positive one is they're hospitable and generous,
Mm.
right? And so you have any experience with that? And what do you think? I mean, I think that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Punjabis that are not hospitable, I'm like, dude, this is a disgrace to Punjabis. You have to be generous and hospitable. That's like a core principle of
Yeah.
Punjabiness.
Yeah. If I mean, ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ, even if it's for cha or just pani, if
Yeah,
you don't have a spread of at least 3 different appetizers, that's not hospitality.
yeah, yeah. No, my mom is like that for sure. My
Yeah.
mom, anyone that comes over, whether it's a guy like servicing the house,
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. He has to go fix the heating system or something. It's like, oh, inu pani pocha cha pocha. Does he
Yeah.
want to eat something? I'm like, mom, he's here to do his job and then
He's
leave.
here to fix the roof.
That's what we're paying him for. All
If
right.
it's a Punjabi guy,
Oh, that's
on top of that, ਫਿਰ ਤੇ ਪਰੌਂਠੇ ਵੀ ਆਣ
I
ਲੱਗੇ ਆ,
know.
ਲੱਸੀ ਵੀ ਆਣ ਲੱਗੀ ਆ, everything.
Yeah, yeah. But no, that is true. Like
Yeah.
hospitable and generous, that's part of Punjab's culture, that
Yeah.
region's culture. Like when people grew up back in the day, people used to, my dad used to tell me that you go to anyone's house anytime in Punjab, like in your village, uh, and they all know you. They all treat you like you're their own, like your family.
Mm.
Doesn't matter what religion you are, caste, creed, whatever.
Yeah.
You're all a big family. So Punjabis have that thing in them, and I think it's great that they brought it over, to America. I
100%.
mean, or wherever the diaspora is. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, hospitality is a core principle, and being generous is a core principle for
Mm-hmm.
sure. So that's a positive stereotype.
It's
That's
true.
good. Hardworking is another one. That's positive. You see Punjabis with, we came out of like manual labor jobs from Punjab. We're not all businessmen and thought like that. And so, yeah, I've seen Punjabis, work really hard, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. My parents did it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
What about your?
Yeah, absolutely. Since
Uh,
they've been here and they relocated here, they've been hardworking, doing menial jobs, and still worked hard at it. And having their own businesses, still worked hard at it. Even my brother, like till this day, he's got his own business. He works so hard to get where he is, but if he has to do that menial job and clean the window, he's going to do it. So I think it just goes to show that no matter where they are, they have that grit in them to work
right,
hard.
right. I totally agree. I mean, it's a thing now with the younger generation. It's kind of different because everyone's growing up with a little more money, a little more privilege and entitlement
Yeah.
in Punjabi culture. But when I grew up, I had a job since I was 16. I'm 44 now. I had a job since I was 16.
Mm.
Just work, like wherever I could work. I never thought of the job as a small job or, oh, what am I doing? I'm being a stock boy at 16 somewhere. Like
Mm-hmm.
those things didn't matter to me. I was like, I just want a job. That was just instilled
Yeah.
in our culture. Like you work hard, you start working, earn your money, save your money, do all
Yeah.
those things. But yeah, I thought there's a famous like line about this too. It's from a Punjabi movie back in the day, and happens to be it's a good Asman movie, and he is a uh, bicycle repairman in
Mm-hmm.
that movie. It's Mamla Gadbad Hai. It's his first movie he ever did, and they're like, "Oh man, tu inna padha likha hai kya? Tu ek choti ji job kyun kar rahe hai?" And
Mm.
he's like, "Kam mara te changa ho sakta, par chota te vadda nahi." Which tells you like no
Mm.
job is too small for
Yeah.
anybody. And so it's such a great line, and
Yeah.
that's like Punjabi hard work right there,
Yeah.
you know.
That's true.
So
Yeah. I mean, even I didn't work since I was a teenager. I guess I'm the anomaly. But when I did have my first job as an LPN and then I became an RN, every job that I had, I think I just naturally had that in me. And I look back now thinking that, oh wow, that's because I've seen my parents work hard and because we always had that thought, ki whatever you do, work hard at it. As a new nurse, sometimes you're told to do certain things that other trained or seasoned nurses on the floor don't want to do. But I always did that, like cleaning up a patient, helping the nurse's aide. Usually the RNs don't have to help the nurse's aide, but you do it, and I did it every time, no matter how much work was on the floor, no matter how many other patients I had. I look back now and I never refused to help, or I never said that I don't have time for this if another aide or anyone else on the floor needed help. And I learned so much because of that too. So yeah, it's definitely in us.
yeah, no, it is definitely in us. Roti hak dikhaiye nahi pame boot palishan kariye. I mean, that's basically Punjabi's work mentality, and
Hmm.
it should be. But yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And another positive one is that Punjabis are brave, fierce, fearless.
Hmm.
Do I think that's true? I do, especially well in the Sikh culture for sure. We are a small part of, like, if you just take Punjab for example,
Yeah.
we are a small part of the population of India, but we are a huge part of their army, right?
Hmm.
And so, yeah, we're brave
Yeah.
there. I think we take more risks. And Punjabis, I have seen just take risk no matter what. Like, I'm impressed because I don't even take that much risk. Punjabis that'll come here
Yeah.
and 5 years later they're doing this business, or they will take a shot at that another business, or take a shot at doing something, going back to school at a certain age or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
they're just brave. Like they don't care what other people think. They're gonna shoot their shot,
Yeah.
and so it's
Like
really
ਚੱਕ
great
ਦੇ
to see.
ਦੇਖੀ ਜਾਏਗੀ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ.
Yeah, it is a chakde mentality. It is a chakde
Yeah.
mentality, and they are brave in that sense, and they're
Hmm.
brave to be on the front lines of stuff of. I mean, I see so many Punjabis now that are. I mean, we live in New York, but so many Punjabis now that are in the police,
Yeah.
right? Front lines,
Yep.
doing stuff, speaking their mind, even if they are in the politician wise, they speak their mind. So I think they are brave.
Isn't it also I don't know, maybe I've seen it in pop culture and media, like a lot of people want Punjabis to be their bodyguards, like high level
Right,
people
right, right. Probably in India for
in
sure.
India,
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's you know, brave is definitely there. If a Punjabi's not brave, I remember back in the day, if you're not brave and fearless, you would just get like, you know, bamboozled by your family, by your cousins and your friends. Like, come on, man, you're Punjabi. I thought you could do this, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
That's how
that's what
they
happens.
motivate you.
That's how they motivate you. That's how they motivate you.
Because if you don't do that, whatever they're forcing you to do, you're not Punjabi.
I know. You're not going to be Punjabi enough. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. So no, brave is definitely
that's
a
peer
good stereo.
pressure at its finest.
It is. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a positive
Yes.
stereotype, and it's a true one.
Yeah.
I think it's a true one for
Yeah.
sure.
No, the
Um,
morale in Punjabi hearts, that bravery, the morale is definitely that's a Punjabi thing.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And there's so many examples of history
Mm-hmm.
of that.
Batna Singh Bahadur.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Banda Singh Bahadur, I think his Shahidi is during this time. So yeah, he's one of the bravest. I recommend everyone to read about Banda Singh Bahadur.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's so much there. There's
Mm-hmm.
so much there. It's you will cry when you
Yeah.
read that story. You will. I mean, if no matter what religion or culture you are, actually, you would just cry to read
Yeah.
that story. So yeah,
And there's another one by Kanhaiya.
right,
I mean, maybe bravery, like he wasn't at the forefront fighting, but he was still brave in that he gave water to even the enemy
mm,
side because they were suffering. So
right,
he put himself on the line because he still wanted to give people water who were dying or who needed it or were suffering.
right, right. Yeah, and that takes a lot too
Mm-hmm.
because you're getting reprimanded by all your other people around you,
Mm-hmm.
your tribe, your the other Sikhs around
Yeah.
that time. But the guru knew what to do. The guru knew
Mm-hmm.
who was the right one. All right, and so now the last positive one. Let's talk about, and this is a big one. The Punjabis love their food, and I know you're in that camp. So talk about that. Punjabis and their food obsession.
Yeah, I am definitely a foodie. Even like every analogy that comes to mind, if I'm explaining something to the kids, I could do it in food analogies. It's just, it comes to me so easy. But yeah, Punjabis are huge foodies. And I think the good part is also that they're not just, a lot of people are vegetarian, but I think a lot of Punjabis are just, bas andil. As long as it's good, we'll eat it. So yeah, Punjabis, and because maybe we are big foodies, I think we have the best food. Like when you go to a restaurant, when someone says they want like Indian food, a lot of times it's Punjabi food,
Yeah,
butter chicken, paneer, malai kofta, and
lamb,
shahi
goat.
paneer.
Yeah,
That's Punjabi,
yeah.
So it's popular now, but I think people knew what they were doing back in the day.
No. It is Punjabi food, and
Paronte,
across the whole region, you go to any party,
yeah,
there's kebabs and
kebabs,
there's lamb chops
yeah.
and there's butter chicken and there's sag and makki roti and
Oh,
all that,
sag,
and
yeah.
there's butter and everything. It's rich and creamy,
Mm.
and yes, Punjabis and food is a big deal because if your party does not if you spent $300,000 on your party, whatever party it is, whatever
Yeah,
party you're throwing,
yeah.
and the food isn't good, your party sucks. That's
Yeah.
just how it is. It
People
doesn't
are going to be
matter.
going in that car ride home bashing you
Yes, yeah.
because your food sucked.
CEOs could be at your party, celebrities could be at your party, but if the food sucked, your party was bad.
It's true.
Yeah, yeah,
It's true.
that's a Punjabi thing for sure. Yeah, yeah, no, Punjabis love their food. I love my food.
Yeah.
I have tried all sorts of Indian food.
Mm.
Let's just stick to India, but and I just tried all sorts of it, and this might be my ego talking, or ethnocentrism
Your
or whatever
Punjabi
it is,
ego.
but but I think we have the best food. Like, thank
Yeah.
God.
I agree.
I'm like, thank you, Vaheguru, that I'm Punjabi,
Yeah.
that I get to eat this food on a daily basis, that I get to have parathe, I get to
Yeah.
have chicken, I get to have lamb, I get to have
Yep.
all these things as
Mm.
part of as part of our meals. Our like, it's
Mm.
not like special occasions that we get to have this food. We could have this food anytime, and we
Mm.
do have it anytime. So I am very thankful that I'm born into a Punjabi family to
Yeah.
try all sorts of foods from all sorts of like different regions of
Mm-hmm.
Punjab too. So it's awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and we expose our kids to these foods too. I think
Right.
it's just a vast. Indian food in general, I think, is just so vast and so many different types, and it's so beautiful because of all the masala we use and everything. But Punjabi food specifically, I think it's just rich and so flavorful, and it's not bland at all.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's just good, flavorful, sometimes spicy food that, but you want more.
Right.
You
Right.
keep
Right.
wanting more.
You do
Like
want
I know
more.
when our kids eat saag, मिर्चा लग रही हैं, पानी निकल रहा है आँखों से, but they're like more,
Yeah.
more. They want the next
Yeah.
bite, So yeah, it is good. I think it's the best food too.
And I feel great about that when they want that food. When like
Yeah,
saag, because saag is no matter
saag.
I've eaten all sorts of food and love everything, but at the end of the day, people would think medium rare steak and potatoes would be my thing. But my favorite food in the world is makki di roti and saag.
Mm.
Favorite, hands down. That is my favorite in the world. And so I'm happy when the kids love saag too, because I didn't expect that. But they love saag. I'm like, yep, those are my kids for sure. Those are definitely my kids if they love saag. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I can't make it, so
Saag is tough.
tough
Saag is
cookie
tough.
for
You got
you.
to go to the bibis. You got to go to your moms.
Moms come through,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, but food is a big part of Punjabiness because when Punjabis go to other
Hmm.
parties and the food ain't right, I'm not talking about Punjabi parties, like other parties, and I've been to like no offense, I love these people and they're my people too, but I've been to like Gujarati parties and weddings, and I'm having food and I'm like I'm going, and I already know in my head it's going to be vegetarian, so
Yeah,
I already have that mental thing. Okay, it's going to be
you're
vegetarian.
prepared.
I'm prepared,
Yeah.
but then like the rotis are small and their makki roti is small and the puris are small, and I'm having like 10 of these and I'm like, am I a pig that I have 10 puris on my plate? Like they're just so small, and it's a
Yeah.
different type of flavor.
Right.
It's a little on the sweet side,
Yeah.
so it's just different. And I know, and I'll eat it. I don't like. I'm okay. Like
Yeah.
shukara khana mil raha, like that's good
Right.
enough for me. Like okay, I'm eating. But I always think about, man, if my parents were here or if my uncles or
If our
my
dads
aunts were
were
here,
there,
they'd be like agi khana, you
they'll
know.
be like, "Is this
Yeah,
it?"
it's this appetizer, right? It's puriani and tortilla. These, I'm like, no, dad, this is the
Yeah.
this is the reception dinner.
Yeah.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
And
no.
that's probably also why we can't take our parents out to like those really high end restaurants, because
Yeah.
sometimes the
Portions are
perception
small.
is like the more you're paying, the less you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And our parents be like, "Sanu, ऐसे नहीं बाहर लेके आया? How much
Yeah.
is this?"
I
They
know.
would kill us
I
if they
know.
knew like how much we paid for food outside and like still came home hungry.
No, they would. They would. Their food is a big deal in
Yeah.
Punjabi households. Food is a big deal. That's why when I go to my friends' houses, whether they're Muslim, Hindu, like I know the food's going to be the best.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to have a great time in that
Yeah.
food, even though it's different, like region of Punjab or even different religion.
Yeah.
I know that food's going to be like on
Food
par.
gets us excited.
Yeah, food gets us excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
ਤਾਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਸ਼ੂਗਰ ਹੋਈ ਪਈ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ।
yeah. Yeah, I know. I know.
ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੂਗਰ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਡਰਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੂਗਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਣੀ ਆ।
Got to exercise. You got to
Diabetes
walk.
is yeah. Punjabis
Diabetes
got to
is
be
prominent.
walking. They need to walk off the pronte and
No,
the butter, but
yeah. I remember I had like a pronta and I took my friend came over. This was like in middle school. My or high school, whatever. My Gujarati friend came over and he's like, "Oh, paratha khane?" I'm like, "Yeah, paratha." So we're having paratha, and I put like a whole like wad of butter on my paratha, and my friend just was like, "What the is going on?" Because he's like, "Bro, you're gonna get a heart attack, bro. Like you cannot eat that." I'm
and
like,
you're like 15.
"Yeah." I'm like, "I'm not gonna get a heart attack. We're not." He's like, they did it like portion, like the portion and like
Yeah.
those things are very different
Yeah.
in their culture to our culture. So it's just funny, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I've been eating it now, and I'm pretty sure he eats it like that now too, because that's the only way to eat
That's the
paratha, man.
only way. You
You
cannot
gotta have
have
a
a
wad of
dry
butter.
paronta.
No,
You can't.
you gotta have some good makhan or
Yeah.
kyo with some chutney, and that's
If
it.
it's that whipped butter,
It is whipped butter.
it's the best.
It was whipped
Yeah.
butter, and he was just like, "You're gonna get a heart. That's a
Yeah.
lot of butter." I'm like, "You ain't gonna get a heart attack from butter, man.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Punjabi. I was like, I'm Punjabi. Don't worry, we're okay." Yeah, yeah. It was a good
We're
time.
just built differently.
Yeah, yeah. That's still hey.
I mean, I got to say though, as a nurse, yeah, we all think that like fat is bad and butter is bad and it's going to kill you. It's actually the carbs to most of
Of course.
the extent. It's the carbs. So Punjabis are notorious for eating like rotiyan and pronte and rice. So
Yeah.
just a word to all Punjabis out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stick with the butter and the kyo, but kind
Yeah.
of cut down on the rotis,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you'll be good.
Yeah. The rotis have to
Yeah.
be, yeah.
And
Yeah.
our parents grew up on kyo and dahi and
Yeah.
all the homemade butter and paneer and all that. And,
Yeah.
they didn't all have diabetes 50 years ago,
No.
so
Yeah.
they were healthier.
They were
But
healthier. They were healthier.
anyway, that's another segment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're keeping the mucking.
Okay. All right. All right. So now let's talk about the negative stereotypes, which might be true too,
Yes.
right? And the first one that comes up, because I was like researching, I was like, oh, ChatGPT, what are some stereotypes,
Mhm.
whatever. The first one that comes up is they're heavy drinkers. And it's a negative stereotype, but I am sad to say that is 100% true.
Yep.
I've seen
Yeah.
this at so many parties where Punjabis drink a lot, but they just can't control it. I've
Yeah.
seen uncles drunk. I've seen uncles throw up. I've seen uncles on the floor. I've seen uncles just go crazy or
Yeah.
fight or whatever in Punjabi party because they cannot control their liquor.
Yeah.
And they are heavy drinkers. And that's just a party. I know Punjabis that they need a peg every day.
Yeah.
Every day they need 2 pegs.
Mhm.
So that is not a good thing. That is a stereotype of us, and that
Yeah.
is 100% true, though.
Yeah. That
That's
we
100% true.
perpetuate.
That we perpetuate.
Yeah.
That Punjabis perpetuate. Like everywhere you go, they're going to be drinking. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you sit in a table of uncles, they're going to be drinking.
Yeah.
And so that's just it's sadly it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's part of the fun-loving persona that everyone thinks of Punjabis, and sadly, like Sardars too, probably. But we 100% do it to ourselves. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not bad to drink. No one's saying it's good or bad, but when you see a Punjabi person that doesn't drink or a party that doesn't have alcohol, you're like, oh, really? Like, you take a step back because it's just not heard of. So there, I do actually, one of my mommy G's, like they actually made a conscious decision. Like they don't really have alcohol actually ever at any of the parties they did. And I'm sure they got heat for it, but it's not the norm.
Yeah, it's not the norm.
Like I've had a drink. I just don't go crazy, but I actually started drinking later in my life, but I'll have 1 or 2. But I just never got
your
it.
drinks are like 10% alcohol.
Yeah.
You just like the peachy taste.
I just like the peach
You
snap.
like the fruity cocktail fruit stuff. Yeah.
It just tastes good to me. I don't do it to get alcohol. But anyway, that's not the point. It's just that we all do it. But that perception that, oh, Punjabis, they're going to kill it. They're going to drink until they can't drink anymore. And that's just how they are. And that's the norm, unfortunately.
Right.
Which is sad for us.
Yeah, it is. And I have been one of those people where I have gone to parties, Punjabi parties, and I'm like, oh, there's no alcohol here. This party's gonna be dead.
Yeah.
Like I've said that. Yeah, because I drink. I have a rule though. Like I drink with people. I don't drink by myself at all.
Yeah.
I think that's just weird when people do drink by themselves. Like they need one every day or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I like party time. Yeah, I'm definitely known to have some, and definitely known to be like at the bar and do all those things. But it's just you got to stick. I mean, the responsibility and what you have now, you got to stick within your limits. Like you're here to have a good time, but a lot of people can't control it because they've been doing it for so long. Yeah. And I know I'm bashing uncles, but it's just those are the people I see get into fights, and I've seen kids get into fights too. By the way. I've seen kids overdrink. I've seen young kids do all that stuff. So yes, it's a stereotype, and another and what people don't know is like in Sikhi you're not supposed to drink. So when I even say that to non-Punjabi, so like anybody else, anyone that's non-Indian, when they say like, oh, you're not supposed to drink, and I'm like, no, Sikhs are not supposed to drink.
Yeah, their mind is blown.
Yeah, their minds are like, what? But you guys drink at every party. Yeah. And I'm like, I know, it's bad. It's bad. And then they have an opposite stereotype. Oh, aren't you vegetarian? And I'm like, no, we can eat everything we
Yeah.
want. We just can't drink. It's actually the
Yeah.
opposite of what people do.
I don't
You
know.
know,
Like, how did that
I
come
know
to
uncles
be?
that are like, man, you know, I like, it's like praise or something. But I know uncles like, oh, man, meat khana chadta. So it's a shrab. He's like, nahi, shrab ta pee lene, पर मैं meat chadta. And I'm like, bro, this is the opposite of what
Yeah.
you should be doing. You're supposed to eat meat and not drink. Hello, what does
Hmm.
that have to do with anything? You know, how are you eat? So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's the stereotype, and it's sad, but yes, that this is
Yeah.
true.
If that was just switched, if we
Yeah,
would eat more protein and drink less and, go heavy on the meats, but
yeah.
be like, oh, you're drinking? Like, what's wrong with you? If that was just switched around, Punjabis would be so much healthier.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
You'd be off your diabetes medication. But yeah.
Right,
Actually,
right,
I think another thing is Punjabis are known to be a little bit more like hatte katte, right?
right, right.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually you're praised when you're a tall Punjabi guy and you're like built. They're like, yeah,
yeah,
he's Punjabi.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oftentimes you feel like a skinny, scrawny dude. Sometimes you're
You're
just like,
right.
oh,
You're right.
what's going on here?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're
Right? They're
taller.
tall.
We have lighter skin.
Mm.
That's a thing too, which kind of like gets
Another
into
stereotype.
another stereotype of things where, yeah, because that's where the ego comes from, right? Like,
Mm.
the Punjabi ego is a stereotype. Punjabis have the biggest ego. They think they're the best and this and that. And that is a true stereotype, because I mean, that is a
That's an
negative
Indian problem
stereotype.
too.
That's a negative stereotype, but I do feel that's true because I have done that. I have been part of the stereotype of, like, oh, Punjabis were the best. Our music is the best. Our food is the best. We're tall. We're handsome. We're light skinned. We're this. We're that. Like, I've done it all. You know, like, to just tease my friends and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, no, that is one. Ego is there, because they come from a part of the region where, I don't know, everyone's a little bit bigger and taller and
Yeah.
sporty like, and sports people and
Yeah.
lighter skin.
Kabaddi.
Yeah, lighter skin, right? So lighter skin is a big thing in, like,
It's a
Indian.
huge bad thing,
We got a lot of colorism in our
even
in our
within the Punjabi community.
Indian community in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
Look at Bollywood, like Indian community in general, right? And so it's yeah, I don't know. I remember that, like, yeah. I just remember people saying, people actually made fun of me because my skin was so light. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, and I was like, what? Oh, you're making fun of me because I have, like, light skin? Like, I never had that in my life, but yes.
Reverse colorism.
Yeah, it was. So, but yeah, yeah, that's a Punjabi thing. Like,
Mm.
like, okay, banda lamba hega, lambiya, and light skin and
Yeah.
whatever, and that's like the Punjabi trait. Like, that's what people think of, like, as a Punjabi person,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's good and bad. You could either, like, own it, or and
Yeah.
not be, egotistical about it, or, you could
But you're
just,
Punjabi.
yeah, I know, but you're Punjabi. You're the best. You're the best in the world.
How can you not be egotistical?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, those are definitely negative stereotypes. The ego, um, fiery, like bad temper. But I don't know. I feel like I know a lot of Punjabis that have bad tempers too. So it might be true. There might be some truth there. But to me personally, I probably don't fit into that stereotype because I am not confrontational. That's just not my personality. I'm not fiery is not what comes to mind. I think when I think about myself, like if there's conflict, I'm running the other way. So maybe I'm not Punjabi in that sense. But yeah, the light skin thing, definitely a huge problem in the Punjabi community and the Indian community.
yeah.
Even like if there's a rishta, you're talking about a girl and a guy. I feel like
Oh, yeah.
first thing can get, oh lambiya, thodi saamli hai. Like,
Yeah,
why does that matter?
yeah.
What does it matter? How dark or light she is, but that makes its way into the conversation.
All the time,
Yeah,
all the time. I think it's less in this generation,
yeah.
but in our parents' generation, that's all, they cared about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah, which is crazy, which is funny. Something that I don't like, and it's a negative stereotype, and it's totally not true. So there's a negative stereotype that is not true. That
Mm.
all Punjabis are jokers, right?
Mm.
They're joking looking, and Bollywood has perpetuated that stereotype,
Yep.
just with, like, Sardars being wild and
Goofy.
goofy looking, and
Hmm.
just stumbling and bumbling and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and just like balle balle, and those are the only words you know.
Yeah.
And so and even Punjabi families sometimes in Bollywood, yeah, they're not the smartest. They're
Hmm.
simple-minded people or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean that thing I hated. I hated
Yeah.
that thing when I was younger. But then now Punjabi music is so Bollywood changed because Punjabi music is just
Changed a lot. Yep.
there's no if a Bollywood film doesn't have like a nice upbeat Punjabi song, I mean, I don't know, it's usually
Yeah.
not a hit song then, and so or hit album. But yeah, like the Joker's thing, and so what that's what I hated, and because we're not like that at all. Yes, we're fun loving. I tell a lot of jokes, and sense of humor is high, but
Hmm.
that doesn't mean we're jokers ourselves,
Yeah.
right? And so that's another thing. Like, oh, he's a goofball, or they're Punjabi, they're simple minded, they don't know
Yeah.
as much,
Well, they're
and so
dumb.
yeah, or they're dumb, really,
Yeah.
really, or they're dumb. So that is definitely a negative stereotype that is totally not true, man.
Nope.
And people just I don't know if people still think it, but that was one that I
Yeah.
grew up with.
Yeah, us too. It was definitely perpetuated by Bollywood movies. The background dancers, any like song, the background dancers, if it was like a Punjabi-ish song. So the Arsiga in the back, but they were like fake with the
Yeah.
weird bugs and the weird darties, and they were just like goofy looking. And it just reminded me of Johnny Lever. Like every time he had
Oh,
a Sardar role in any movie, he was just like the goofiest. I know it was for comedic relief, but like every time he was a star, he just looked so goofy and weird, and it wasn't funny to us, you know.
no, it's not funny at all.
But I mean, when they portrayed Punjabi girls, like when I think of Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, Kajol's role, she was just like this fiery, bubbly, fun-loving girl, but then she talked too much. Like she didn't know what she was saying sometimes, and she was just like hot-tempered, you know. So I don't think that's 100% true, but that's what was portrayed
Yeah,
a lot of times in the movies.
yeah,
But they've come a long way. Punjabi
yeah.
movies, I think, have definitely broken that stereotype.
Punjabi movies have broken up, and I think
Yeah.
people like Diljit have broken that stereotype. Akshay Kumar,
Yeah.
okay, so
To some extent,
I don't want to
Akshay
talk
Kumar.
about like well, Akshay Kumar is not Sikh, right?
Right.
But he's Punjabi,
Mm.
so he did Sing is King. That kind of broke the mold too,
Yes.
because that's finally a Sardar. That broke the mold in the sense that Akshay is playing a Sardar. That's
Mm-hmm.
not that. Yeah, he's a little goofy in the movie, but that's not his whole thing. He actually is the main star of the movie.
Mm.
Wears a pug throughout, and so
True.
that changed.
Right.
And he had a good message at the end. Then he did the Sing Is King
Yeah.
song.
That song.
Then he did the song with Snoop with
Yes.
a full darty and
That's
Pug
true.
and
Yep.
did it and the lyrics. So I was like, yeah, there's criticisms of that movie and
Yeah.
criticism how he's portrayed, but overall, that was a huge step
Huge.
forward.
Yeah.
I would have never thought Akshay, full darty, Sardar, Pug having a
Yeah.
song with Snoop.
True.
Okay,
That's true.
so that was a huge step forward,
Yeah.
and so I got to give him credit because he's. I remember him saying in an interview, "I hate when Sardars are portrayed like this, that
Mm-hmm.
they're goofballs." He said it himself, so I
Yeah.
wanted to show what Sardars really are.
Mm.
When you're in trouble and stuff, or when your daughter is at night, trying to get a auto or trying to get a car at night, they look for a Sardar car because they know
Mm.
that these people will be,
Yeah. They're noble.
yeah, noble and have integrity.
Yeah.
So that's what he wanted to show. So I have to give him
That's true.
credit. And then Diljit now with the Pug and Dadi, now people are seeing. Now people are seeing like, oh, okay, he's making hit songs. He's collaborating with everyone. They're
He's
not in
huge.
the
Yeah.
movies. The Hindi movie he does and Punjabi movies, he's not a goofball
Yeah.
unless it's a comedy. But
Right.
he's not. He has played all sorts of roles.
Yeah.
He's played a role in 1984, and he's played a role in Jet and Juliet, where he's
Yep.
so. I think people are now seeing, like, okay, this is what a true Sardar is, or a
Yeah.
true Punjabi household is.
Yeah. He definitely put Punjabis on the map
Yeah, yeah, even more,
in a
even more.
amazing, positive
Right.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done
Yeah.
great things.
Yeah. So that Joker thing is probably still there because I don't hear it anymore. But I used to hear, oh, Sardarji, Baran Vajge, whatever. I don't hear that anymore because now people know like that
Yeah.
shit is so fake and made up. But it is is one of those things that I grew up with too. Not too many. I mean, all my friends knew me and all that, and most of my friends are either Muslim Punjabi or Hindu Punjabi, really,
Mm-hmm.
and they never said those things,
Yeah.
right? But they said, "Yo, that's in the culture, man. No one says it to you, but people have said that, and they tell me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a secret thing. They like tell me like what's happening." And I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then movies started explaining it a little, and so it's like, yeah, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we're the ones that saved you guys. It wasn't the
Mm.
opposite. So anyway, anyone wants to
I
read the
mean,
history of that, that's fine.
yeah,
But
I think people should know if you do use that joke or you thought it was funny at some point, which I'm sure even Punjabis laughed at it when they reference it in the movies and stuff. But there's actually a story behind it, which
yeah,
is not true.
yeah,
It's not funny.
yeah, it's not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a strategic move to free the women
Mm-hmm.
and to free whoever the Mughals were imprisoning at night.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I mean, people could read it.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's that. And then another negative stereotype is they're show offs.
Mm.
You know, I was talking about Akshay Kumar. He made singers bling. Like they're just show offs. And
He was
they
definitely
wanna
blinged out.
they
Yeah.
wanna they put a lot of emphasis on the vadi ankara and the clothes and the shoes and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is it true? Do I think it's a negative stereotype? I think it's half true. I
Yeah.
think it's half true because I only know a couple of people that do that. Most of the Punjabis are just like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think within the Punjabi community, like you always know those people that want to show off and, love to flaunt. But for the most part, I think Punjabis really treasure being simple and humble and just, they just want to live a good life with good food and, be happy and jolly but they're simple for the most part. Um, they're
Yeah.
not they're not show offs
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think they're show offs for the most part. I mean, that's just a negative.
Doesn't mean that they don't have nice things.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's doesn't mean that they don't want to be grand and don't want to have nice things. Like that's that's okay, but to be flaunting it and show off and to portray that they're better than somebody else, I think that's
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not true. That's not
Mm.
true. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that many people that show off, but I do know
Mm.
people that I do know Punjabis that get certain things so they could be head turners,
Mm.
right? And I know people like that,
Probably
but
part
that's
of your
fine.
personality too then
Yeah.
when you're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is. But I know other cultures in India that don't do that
Yeah.
at all, unless
Mm.
that's your shonk, that's your hobby or
Right.
passion. But Punjabis would buy certain things to show it off. Yeah, that's
Mm.
half true. Half true.
Mm. Okay.
No, I think so. Okay, so now let's talk about Punjabi stereotypes within the Punjabi community.
Mm.
All right, and so the stereotypes in that community is the biggest one is where you're from in the region.
Yes. The cast.
The caste. Caste is yes, caste is one, but also like, are you Pindu? Are you Sheri? Are you Jat? Like those are the three words I hear all the time.
Yeah.
Pindu,
Yeah.
Sheri, Jat. Right? Like
And
so.
Jat and Pindu are kind of like synonymous sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That's true. That's true.
Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, and that is a stereotype
Yeah.
that Punjabis. I'm telling you, that happens in the culture all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a negative stereotype, and it needs to go away. But it happens in the culture all the time, where you meet someone, and if you like them or not like them, or the critique would be, "Oh, jada hi pindua,
Yeah.
on the tha hegi, jaga hegi, store hegi, gurdwara hega, whatever it is."
Yeah.
And then a Jat is because Jats, the Punjabi stereotype is like Jats think they're all that. They have an ego,
Yeah.
and they're also that
They think they're the best.
they think they're the best. But the stereotype in the community is like inu kuch pata nahi. They're simple
Mm.
minded. They're fools,
Mm.
right? They don't know how to preserve things. They don't know how to keep things or make money. They're show
Yeah.
offs and all that stuff, and which is which is bad. But yeah, that's something that maybe we should stop doing. Maybe we should stop stereotyping Punjab, you know, within
Yeah.
our own community, like Opindua, Sharia, because a lot of stuff does not get done.
Yeah.
I've seen Gurdwara politics not get done. I've seen households not get along. I've seen households diss each other because maybe somebody married in a Jat family or Pindu family and they're Shari or whatever the
Mhm.
case is,
Mhm.
that they're always just talking crap about each other.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I've seen it more in the Jat community. Even this was like even 20 years ago when they used to put out matrimonials, like
Oh,
specifically the Jat matrimonials were looking for Jat female or Jat male. They
yeah,
would put that out there and make it clear that we
yeah,
don't want anyone else from any other caste. This is what we're looking for. I didn't really
yeah,
see what other castes. Like I never really saw Ram Gadia looking for it, Ram Gadia. Maybe I did, but I don't remember. It's just it was not as prominent. So I don't know
yeah,
about now, but
yeah,
that to me that was always a weird thing. Like why do they always want just Jat female or male? So
yeah.
within the Punjabi community, to me that made me think that do they think like they're better, or
No,
what's the idea behind this? I don't know. But yeah, it's a negative stereotype. We do it to ourselves. We perpetuate it. We talk about Pindus and Sheris all the time, and we
we
don't
do.
think about it. I think there needs to be more thought before we speak. When we just say, "Oh, at the Shari ne, they're just chalakiyan kar diya, or they must be clever and they're not trustworthy." I'm probably Pindu say that more often, but I speak from personal experience. Or Shadis, or think maybe Pindus are like unpad, they're not smart, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਜਾਂ ਬੋਲਣ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕੀ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਣਾ. So I don't know. Sometimes maybe it might be true, but to the most part, like I just feel like we do it to ourselves in a negative way. We
Yeah,
perpetuate that and we put people in a box within the Punjabi community.
we do.
But I don't think it's a Pindu Shadi thing. I think more so is probably when people grow up in India and then they come here, they're just automatically labeled maybe as Pindu, because they grew up in a
Yeah,
different culture and then they're having trouble assimilating to American culture. There's all those things too.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it doesn't mean that they were Pindu and they're unpard, but
Right,
but
right.
that's a
But
lot of
that's the
times.
stereotype from the Shadi's point of view.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, Pinda, their Reet Rivaj is
yeah,
different. The way they think is different. Their cultural little
yeah,
norms in their house are different, and it's
yeah.
probably a little true.
I
But
think so too. Yeah,
like if we stop saying it, maybe it'll get better. But if we just
right.
say it in your head and then you start building barriers,
Yeah, but then
it's
we
different.
complain like, why is there so much infighting within the
Yeah,
Punjabi community? Because
yeah,
that does us a disservice. We don't uplift each other more. We kind of put each other down more.
yeah, yeah.
You're not building a tight knit community like other cultural communities might be. You're
That's
actually
true.
like putting each other down
Yeah,
when you need each other the most,
that's true.
when you
That's true.
infight and talk about the caste and all that. Doesn't it might be true, it might be not true. Maybe Shadis do come from like a more of a city culture, and when you live in a city, you grow up differently. You see
Yeah,
different things. You're more close knit. Uh, but when you grow up in a pind, yeah, maybe it's true. Life is more simple,
yeah.
right? So I could see where those things come from, but again, when you're talking about a community, it doesn't help when you perpetuate those
No,
negative statements.
no. That's the thing we got to get over too. I mean that you're funny. It's funny though that you mention it because I remember back in the day when they were looking for matches for my sister and stuff. You would see like Jat Gursuk, and in my
Oh,
head I'm like
oh God.
oxymoron. How is it a
Huge
Jat Gursuk?
oxymoron.
Like what? I mean, I don't even understand parents. Like how
Yeah.
are you Gursuk and Jat and at the same time? That's I mean, it is like the weirdest thing when I used to see those things because everyone's like, if you're a Gursuk, that means it's all good, right? There is no
Mm,
caste. Hello, Singh, all that
yeah.
stuff. You know, Jatsik is one thing, but when you write Jat Gursik, I'm like, yo, is this like an Amritari person trying to do this? Like now
Yeah.
Amritaris are into Jat stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that thing never leaves, and I think it's leaving right now, like in the younger generation, because nobody cares. Like
Mm,
nobody cares about anyone's caste, man, or anyone's like Punjabi regional stuff. Everyone just wants
yeah.
to be Punjabi. We want to do our thing, you know, want to
Yeah.
believe in whatever religion we want to believe in. And we just want to be like, you know, we just want to be strong culturally. That's all we
Yeah.
want to do. And nobody cares about that stuff. But you're right. You're right. I think the elders still had that in their heads. And who knows? I don't know. I haven't looked at matrimonials, obviously. I don't know.
Me neither.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're saying
Yeah.
now these days. But if you are putting your caste there, or anything like that, that is just sad. That
Yeah.
is just sad, especially in America.
Hmm.
I don't even know what to say to you.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like
Yeah.
when a Punjabi person or as a Sikh person, when I read that, maybe someone outside the culture, they'll read that and they'll be like, oh, okay, they won't think anything of it. But when you're Punjabi or Sikh and you read that right away, I think you realize, okay, this is,
Yeah.
they want to say Gursikh, but they're really just looking for a Jat person.
Yeah. Exactly.
They don't
Yeah.
really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. No, all right, great. I mean, so
Yeah.
overall, like there's a lot of stereotypes in the Punjabi
Yeah.
community. A lot of them are true, but overall, like my thing is on Punjabi life and what I've seen. I'm just thankful that I get to have Punjabi music in my life. I get
Yeah.
to have Punjabi poetry in my life. I get to have
Oh,
Gurmukhi in my
yes.
life, Sikhi in my life. Uh, the culture is just so strong,
Yeah.
hospitable, generous. I mean, it's so many good things on Punjabi culture. Like
Yeah.
I'm very thankful every day that like thank you Vaheguru on Punjabi, and
Yeah.
I'm sure if I was probably in any other culture, I'll probably say the same thing. But I love it. I'm very thankful to what Punjabiyat has given me, and hopefully I can pass it on to the kids.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think we have the best of so many worlds, whether it's food, whether it's music. Like, look at the most popular songs, even if it's in Bollywood. I'm sure it was a Punjabi song that they probably
Right.
remade into like a more Bollywoodized version to make it palatable. But most of the best songs are with Punjabi music. So whether it's
Right.
music, food, bravery, personality wise, we're fun, loving, and all that. So there's downsides to everything. I think there's always problems within the community that we need to focus on and fix.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, I think Punjabis outside of India, wherever they've gone, they've built amazing communities, done so many great things. There's so many prominent Sardars now, in politics, in pop culture. Like look at Diljit. Um, and the other day I was reading in Italy, actually, there's like a town that mainly filled with Sardars that came like decades ago, and they contributed so much to the making of Parmesan cheese
Yeah.
because they were there for so long. They worked so hard. They built a community, and they contributed to this amazing thing that Italy is known for. And now they're like, since they've been there for so long, their kids are there, and they've contributed in such a positive way. I think definitely Sardars, Punjabis, Gursikhs, they have contributed in positive ways wherever they have moved to.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure,
yeah,
for sure. I think Punjabis as a whole, like
yeah,
it's just no matter what religion.
yeah,
I mean, it's just hardworking, bravery, and having fun, man. Having
having
fun,
fun.
being
Yeah,
positive, and just have fun.
yeah.
There was when you were talking, there was a song that we used to listen to back in the day, Number One Punjabi. I mean,
Oh
that's what
yeah.
it is, man. I mean, come on now. If you're saying we're number one, we're
That
gonna
was a
take
good
it.
song.
We're gonna take
I
it.
think they
You know
had
what I'm
some
saying?
goofy Sardars in there, but
Yeah.
it was
Hey,
a good
whatever,
song. Yeah,
whatever. I mean, if we're like that, we're number one.
yeah,
That's how it is.
yeah.
So, um, cool. All right, great podcast.
Good job.
All right.